The Lone Defiance. The stars had never seemed so cold. Captain Maya Chen stood on the observation deck of the Crimson Phantom, watching the endless void stretch before her. Behind her, Earth hung like a blue marble, beautiful and vulnerable. In 3 days, the stellar dominion would arrive with their armada, and humanity would face extinction or slavery. There was no third option. Captain, final systems check complete. Lieutenant James Rodriguez called from the engineering station. His voice carried the weight of knowing this might be their last mission. The quantum drive is holding steady at 98% efficiency. Maya turned from the viewport, her reflection catching in the reinforced glass. At 35, she had already seen more combat than most veterans twice her age. The scar running from her left temple to her jaw served as a reminder of humanity's first encounter with the Dominion 5 years ago. That day, she lost her entire squadron. Today, she commanded Earth's last hope. The Crimson Phantom wasn't like other ships. Built in secret using recovered Dominion technology and human innovation, it represented the culmination of Earth's desperate research program. Where alien ships relied on brute force and overwhelming numbers, the Phantom embodied humanity's greatest strengths: adaptability, creativity, and sheer stubborn refusal to accept defeat. Crew meeting in the war room. Maya announced over the ship's comm system. 5 minutes. As she made her way through the corridors, Maya reflected on her unconventional crew. Earth's military had offered her their finest, but she had chosen differently. She needed people who could think outside the box, who could see solutions where others saw only problems. The war room filled quickly. Dr. Sarah Kim, their chief scientist and weapons specialist, arrived first. Her brilliant mind had cracked the Dominion's shield frequencies and developed the ship's revolutionary adaptive armor. Next came Rodriguez, whose ability to push systems beyond their limits had saved them more times than Maya could count. Pilot Alex Thompson slouched in, looking deceptively relaxed. Behind that casual exterior was someone who could fly through an asteroid field blindfolded and make it look easy. Communications officer Yuki Tanaka followed, her fingers already dancing over her portable console, monitoring Dominion transmissions. The last to arrive was Marcus Webb, their infiltration specialist. Former thief turned war hero, Marcus had a gift for getting into places he shouldn't be. His skills would be crucial for what Maya had planned. All right, people. Maya began, activating the holographic display. Here's the situation. The Stellar Dominion's main fleet will arrive in 72 hours. 5,000 ships, including 3 planet-killer dreadnoughts. Their ultimatum stands: surrender or face total annihilation. The hologram showed the approaching fleet, a mass of red dots moving inexorably toward Earth. The sight would have been terrifying if they hadn't already accepted their fate. Earth's defense fleet consists of 300 ships. Maya continued. In a conventional battle, we'd last maybe 10 minutes. So we don't fight conventionally, Sarah interjected, pushing her glasses up. The Crimson Phantom has capabilities they've never seen. Maya nodded. Exactly. Our mission isn't to defeat their fleet in open combat. It's to create chaos, exploit weaknesses, and buy time for Earth to evacuate as many people as possible to the colony ships. She zoomed in on the largest ship in the Dominion fleet. This is the Inevitability, their command carrier. 20 kilometers long, crew of 100,000. Admiral Zarthak commands from here. If we can take him out, the fleet loses coordination. Yuki finished. Their rigid command structure becomes a liability. But how do we get close enough? Alex asked. Their sensor net extends for thousands of kilometers. Maya smiled grimly. We use their arrogance against them. They expect us to run or hide. Instead, we're going to fly straight into their formation using the quantum storm in Sector 7 as cover. The room fell silent. The quantum storm was a navigational nightmare, a region where space itself twisted and folded unpredictably. Ships that entered rarely emerged intact. Captain, Rodriguez said slowly, The Phantom's experimental drive might handle the storm, but the stress on the hull will be extreme, Maya finished. But it's our only chance to get inside their perimeter undetected. Once we're in, we'll have minutes before they adapt. We need to make them count. She outlined the plan in detail. The Crimson Phantom would use the storm to mask its approach, emerging inside the Dominion's formation. While the enemy scrambled to respond, they would execute a series of surgical strikes designed to create maximum confusion. The turning tide. The maintenance port on the Inevitability loomed before Marcus Webb's boarding team, like the mouth of some mechanical beast. Through his helmet's display, he could see the massive dreadnought's hull stretching away in all directions, a landscape of metal and energy shields. "Charges set," whispered Specialist Dana Park, her fingers moving with practiced precision over the explosive device. 10 seconds to breach. Marcus nodded, gesturing for his team to take cover. Besides Donna, he had brought Chen Lai, their close combat specialist, and Dr. Anya Petrov, whose xenobiology expertise might prove crucial inside the alien vessel. The explosion was surprisingly quiet in the vacuum of space, but its effect was dramatic. The port's heavy doors crumpled inward, atmosphere rushing out in a crystalline cloud that quickly dispersed. "Move," Marcus ordered, leading his team through the breach. Inside, emergency lights cast long shadows down corridors designed for beings 3 meters tall. The Dominion's standard gravity was lighter than Earth's, allowing the team to move with enhanced agility. They had minutes before internal security responded. "Anya, which way to the command center?" Marcus asked. The doctor consulted her scanner, overlaying the ship's probable layout with their position. "Up 7 levels, then toward the ship's core. But Marcus, I'm reading strange energy signatures throughout the vessel. Something's not right." Before Marcus could respond, the corridor filled with the distinctive hum of Dominion warriors materializing. 7 feet tall and encased in powered armor, they moved with mechanical precision. Chen Lai stepped forward, her combat suit's servos whining as she dropped into a fighting stance. "Go. I'll hold them." "Chen," Marcus began. "Go," she shouted, already moving. Her first strike caught a Dominion warrior mid-materialization, the monofilament blade in her gauntlet slicing through its armor like paper. "I'll buy you time." Marcus led the others deeper into the ship, the sounds of combat fading behind them. They navigated by Anya's scans and instinct, avoiding main corridors where possible. The Inevitability's interior was a maze of geometric patterns and pulsing lights, alien and disorienting. Meanwhile, aboard the Crimson Phantom, Captain Maya Chen orchestrated a deadly dance among the stars. The human ship twisted and spun, its adaptive armor shifting to deflect energy weapons that could vaporize asteroids. Their formations tightening, Alex reported, throwing the ship into a spiraling dive that avoided a convergence of beam weapons. "They're learning our patterns." "Then we change the rules," Maya replied. "Sarah, status on the null field generator." "Ready, but we'll only get 1 shot. The power drain will leave us vulnerable for 30 seconds. Maya weighed the options. 30 seconds of vulnerability in this environment meant almost certain destruction. But if they could disrupt the Dominion's coordination at the right moment. "Yuki, any word from Marcus?" "Nothing yet, Captain. Too much interference." On the Inevitability, Marcus and his remaining team had reached the command level. The corridors here were wider, more ornate, with flowing patterns that hurt human eyes to follow. They could feel the ship's massive power cores thrumming through the deck plates. "The command center should be just ahead," Anya whispered. "But these energy readings, Marcus, I think the Dominion are hiding something fundamental about their technology." They rounded a corner and froze. Before them stood a massive door, covered in symbols that seemed to shift and change when viewed directly. 2 Dominion guards flanked it, their weapons already trained on the humans. Marcus acted on instinct, diving aside as energy bolts seared the air where he'd stood. Dana's return fire was precise, her shots targeting the joints in the guard's armor. But these were elite warriors, not standard troops. The firefight was brief but intense. When it ended, Dana lay unconscious, her suit's medical systems working to stabilize her. One guard was down, the other retreating deeper into the ship. "We need to move," Marcus said, lifting Dana. "Anya, can you?" The doctor was already at the door, her scanner working. The locking mechanism is biometric, but fascinating. It's not reading biology as we understand it. It's reading something else. Consciousness patterns, perhaps. An explosion rocked the ship. Through the viewports, they could see the battle outside had intensified. The Crimson Phantom was surrounded, its shields flaring under concentrated fire. "We're out of time," Marcus said. "Can you open it or not?" Anya placed her hand on the door's surface. For a moment, nothing happened. Then her eyes widened. "Oh my God. Marcus, the Dominion. They're not what we think they are." "There, Sarah, I need you to finish calibrating the null field generator. If we can disrupt their communications, even briefly, it'll multiply the chaos." "Already on it," Sarah replied. "I've also been working on something special for their shields. Remember how their frequency modulation follows a pattern? I've developed a virus that exploits that pattern." Maya raised an eyebrow. "A virus? Think of it as a cascade resonance. Once introduced into their shield network, it spreads from ship to ship, causing sequential failures. It won't last long. They'll adapt within minutes, but those minutes could be crucial." The meeting continued as each crew member contributed ideas and refinements. This was why Maya had chosen them. Not just for their skills, but for their ability to think creatively under pressure. 2 days later, the Crimson Phantom approached the quantum storm. On the main screen, it appeared as a swirling maelstrom of impossible colors, reality itself seeming to twist and tear. "All hands, prepare for storm entry," Maya announced. "Alex, take us in." "Copy that, Captain. Might want to hold on to something." The ship lurched as it entered the storm's edge. Immediately, alarms began wailing. The hull groaned under stresses no ship was designed to withstand. Through the viewports, space became a kaleidoscope of fractured images, multiple versions of the same stars, twisted reflections of their own ship, glimpses of places that shouldn't exist. "Hull integrity at 80%, Rodriguez reported, his hands flying over controls. "Quantum drive fluctuating. Uncompensating, but..." A massive jolt threw everyone against their restraints. Sparks flew from overloaded systems. The main lights flickered and died, leaving them in the eerie glow of emergency power. 60% hull integrity. "Captain, we can't take much more." Maya gripped her command chair, knuckles white. "Hold her together, Rodriguez." "Alex, how much further?" "Unknown. The storm's playing havoc with our navigation. I'm flying by instinct here." Another impact. Something in the ship's superstructure screamed in protest. Maya could feel the Phantom fighting to tear itself apart, held together only by human engineering and sheer determination. "There," Yuki shouted. "I'm detecting the edge of the storm. Bearing 270 Mark IV. "I see it," Alex confirmed. "Hang on. This is going to be rough." The Crimson Phantom burst from the quantum storm like a bullet from a gun, trailing streamers of distorted space. Immediately, proximity alarms screamed as they found themselves in the heart of the Dominion fleet. "Contacts all around us," Yuki reported. "They're confused. Their sensors can't lock onto us. Residual quantum interference." "How long?" Maya demanded. 30 seconds, maybe less." "Sarah, deploy the virus. Marcus, prepare for boarding operations. Everyone else, battle stations." The next few minutes were controlled chaos. The Crimson Phantom danced between massive Dominion warships, its weapons striking with surgical precision. Sarah's virus spread like wildfire through the enemy shield network, causing a cascade of failures. Dominion ships fired blindly, sometimes hitting their own vessels in the confusion. "Captain, I've identified a weak point in the Inevitability's hull," Marcus reported. "Maintenance access port, Section 47. "Do it," Maya ordered. "Take whoever you need." As Marcus assembled his boarding team, Maya focused on the larger battle. The Dominion was beginning to adapt, their response becoming more coordinated. They had minutes at most before the enemy's superior numbers overwhelmed them. "Captain," Sarah called out, "I'm detecting something odd in the Dominion's command frequencies. There's a pattern, almost like fear." Maya frowned. The Dominion didn't experience fear, or so they'd been told. They were logical, methodical conquerors who viewed emotion as weakness. "Yuki, can you isolate those transmissions?" "Working on it." "Got it." "Captain, you need to hear this." The bridge speakers crackled to life. Amid the alien language, Maya caught fragments translated by their AI. "Impossible. Humans cannot. The quantum storm. No ship survives." A slow smile spread across Maya's face. They'd done more than surprise the Dominion. They'd done something the aliens thought impossible. And if there was one thing that terrified a species that prided itself on knowing everything, it was encountering something beyond their understanding. "All hands," Maya announced, "prepare for Phase 2. We've got their attention. Now let's show them what humans are really capable of." As the Crimson Phantom wove through enemy fire, its crew united in purpose, Maya felt a surge of pride. They were one ship against thousands, a handful of humans facing the galaxy's mightiest empire. The odds were impossible, the situation hopeless. In other words, exactly where humanity did its best work. The door rised open, revealing the command center beyond. At its heart sat Admiral Zarthak, or what they had believed was Admiral Zarthak. The figure in the command throne was connected to the ship by countless cables and conduits, more machine than biological. "Welcome, humans," the Admiral's voice resonated not through the air, but directly in their minds. "You have traveled far to learn the truth. Now witness the reality of the stellar Dominion." The walls became transparent, revealing the true nature of the inevitability. It wasn't a ship in any conventional sense. It was a single vast organism, with the crew serving as its cells, the Admiral as its brain. "We are not conquerors," Zarthak continued. "We are gardeners. For millennia, we have shaped the galaxy, pruning species that threaten the greater harmony. Humanity was to be our greatest challenge." Marcus stepped forward, his weapon trained on the Admiral. "Why tell us this?" "Because you have already won." The admission sent shockwaves through Marcus's mind. "By surviving the quantum storm, by thinking beyond our calculations, you have proven that humanity possesses something we lack, something the galaxy needs." Outside, the battle reached its crescendo. Maya had waited for the perfect moment, watching as the Dominion fleet contracted around them. Now, with enemies on all sides, she gave the order. "Sarah, activate the null field generator. All hands, brace for impact." The Crimson Phantom's experimental weapon activated, sending out a pulse of pure negation. For 30 seconds, within a sphere kilometers wide, the fundamental forces that allowed Dominion technology to function simply stopped. Ships powered by exotic matter reactors found themselves dead in space. Weapons that manipulated spacetime itself fell silent. The careful coordination that made the Dominion fleet so formidable dissolved into chaos. In that moment of vulnerability, the Crimson Phantom struck. Not with weapons, but with something far more powerful. An idea. "Broadcast on all frequencies," Maya ordered. "Let them hear what we've learned." Marcus's voice echoed across the void, transmitted from the Inevitability's command center. He spoke of what they'd discovered, that the Dominion feared humanity not for its weapons or ships, but for its unpredictability, for its ability to find solutions outside the parameters of logic and calculation. "You came to conquer Earth," Maya added to the broadcast, "but instead you've given us the stars. Because now we know the truth, that the galaxy needs what humanity offers. Not order, but chaos. Not predictability, but innovation. Not submission, but partnership. The null field faded, and Dominion systems came back online. But something had changed. Ships that moments before had been focused on destruction now held their fire. Across the fleet, a conversation began, not in words, but in the rapid exchange of data, ideas, possibilities. Admiral Zarthak's mental voice reached out to both crews. The high convergence has reached consensus. Humanity will not be conquered or destroyed. Instead, we offer something unprecedented in our history: alliance. The weapons powered down. The great fleet that had come to end humanity's journey to the stars instead became its escort to a larger stage. In the aftermath, as terms were negotiated and a new galactic order took shape, Maya stood once again on the observation deck. Earth still hung in the void, no longer alone, no longer threatened. "Think they'll keep their word?" Alex asked, joining her. Maya smiled. "They're logical beings. They've recognized that humanity's chaos makes the galaxy stronger, more adaptable. They need us as much as we need them. And if they change their minds..." Maya's smile widened. "Then we'll do what humans do best. We'll find a way to win anyway." The Crimson Phantom, battered but victorious, turned toward the stars. Behind it came ships of the Stellar Dominion, no longer conquerors but allies in humanity's greatest adventure. The galaxy would never be the same. One human ship had faced the mightiest fleet ever assembled. And in the end, it wasn't close. Not because of superior firepower or technology, but because of something far more powerful: the unconquerable human spirit that refuses to accept the impossible. The stars no longer seemed cold. They seemed full of infinite possibility.